Hey guys, Chris here with Indie Farm Life. Got a little project today. Shocker, I know we never have any of those, right? This one is going to be showing you guys how to replace some spindles on the deck of a Grasshopper. Now I've done one of these before. The first one, took me, I don't know, probably an hour and a half since I didn't know what the heck I was doing. This one hopefully will go a little faster and give you guys a little how-to if you need to do it in the future. A lot of the spindles on the decks are, similar process, whether it's a Grasshopper, Dixie chopper, Husqvarna, whatever kind of mower you got. There's only, I don't know, 1,000 of them out there. But the process should be pretty similar. So I'm going to walk you guys through it. Enjoy. So side note, some of you guys may be saying, okay, well, how do I know if my spindles on my deck need replaced at all? Well, there's a couple things you can do. First, if you're mowing and it sounds like you're constantly running into a barbed wire fence underneath your deck, could be part of the reason, or your blades could be hitting something. The other thing would be get underneath the deck, give the blade a wiggle, okay? Up and down, make sure it's tight on the spindle itself. If that blade is tight and you can get any movement out of it at all, up and down, you need a new spindle. Probably easiest way to tell. Unless it sounds like you're mowing rocks all the time, that's pretty easy to tell too. Alright, first thing we're going to do, take off a couple of them bolts on the outside to get this cover off, and go from there. Alright, next thing we got to do is take the blade off the bottom. Can't see it. But take the blade off, and you want to do that while the belt is still on, so you have tension against it. Because if not, after you take that belt off, you start twisting on that blade, all you're going to do is turn that pulley. So take the blade off next. Another little tip for you guys, before you take the blade off, make sure you loosen that up right there. Basically what that does is it allows you to pull on that, hold on to that blade while you're trying to loosen that. Give you a little more leverage to get that loosened up, okay? Now, it's going to be done a couple ways. Mine, well, when I have my other hand, I can basically hold on to both of these and it will basically stretch that spring that's on the tensioning pulley over there, and I can get it off there. If not, you may have to go through the procedure of how you'd be replacing your belt, which usually involves loosening or adjusting the spring that's on the tensioning pulley to keep your belt taut. Alright, so now that we got that bolt loosened up out of there, we're just going to pry this pulley off. Now, not going to lie, sometimes those are on there pretty good, so you might need a little bit of a pry bar to loosen that up. Maybe get some penetrating grease, some PB Blaster down inside there. Sometimes it can be pretty difficult. I've never had to use a gear puller to get one off, but you may have to. Well guys, remember how I said I've never had a problem getting one of these off and never had to use a gear puller? Well, I need a gear puller. Yep, and luckily I've spent enough time messing around with this one that the store's closed, closest to me, that has one. So, to be continued, I suppose. Alright guys, sorry for the delay on that. Can't help it, but my good friend Karma came to visit. That's what I get for saying anything. I'll learn one day. But anyways, as you see behind me here, went ahead and bought me a gear puller. I figure I've got one more spindle I haven't replaced on this yet, so sure enough, it'll also be one that I'll need this gear puller for. And so went to Harbor Freight, grabbed this one. Fits up to an 8-inch spindle or 8-inch pulley, sheave, whatever you want to call them. I think they're called all of those things, depending on where you're looking. 15 bucks Harbor Freight, so give you guys a quick view of how it works for me. Alright guys, so hope you can see that okay. I went ahead and put this on here. Basically just each hook goes down on the inside of that bad boy. I'm giving it a couple cranks already, so it shouldn't take a whole lot more, I don't think, to get it off there, but let's see. I'll be darned. Thing works pretty darn well, doesn't it? So after I lifted that off there, a couple other things of interest. Going to be taking these bolts out here. That's what's actually holding the spindle onto the deck itself. So we're going to take all those off. They're just threaded from the top. So there's no bolt underneath them to hold on to. Another thing you're going to make sure is this lock pin right here. you're going to make sure you keep that, because the new spindle, at least on most mowers, or at least most Grasshopper mowers, when you get a new spindle, it does not come with a new one of these locks to make sure your sheave doesn't rotate just on that. So make sure you don't lose that in the process. So you're going to take all these bolts off. As soon as you do that, it's going to drop straight to the ground. So, you know, this is a concrete floor. I don't really care, but just keep that in mind. There it is, all removed. There's the spindle outside of it. There's the lock pin I was telling you about. Make sure you don't lose. One thing of note, I just wanted to show you guys. I showed you while the blade was still on it. But without having that blade to get some torque to pull on that, you don't feel the movement in it like you would when the blade's on it. But that's why it causes the problem, because those blades are heavy, they get spinning super fast. That's when you finally notice that this thing, the bearing inside there starts to go out. So we've got the new one here, all shiny and nice. Go ahead and put a couple pumps of grease into that. Just save your time from doing it, or save you some time from doing it later. Alright guys, so we got the new spindle bolted on. So just the opposite, taking it off, putting it back on. You can see that just slides up and out of there right now without that lock pin in there holding it in place. So we will just drop the sheave back on. So I won't be able to do it while I'm holding the camera, but when that comes back up, we'll just place that on top. Put the lock pin back in. Screw that right on top. It's just gonna screw right into there. And we will put the belt back on it. Give us some tension as we're putting the blade on underneath. Tighten the blade up. Put the cover on and we'll be all set. Alright guys, we got that project all wrapped up. It only took me about 7 days, so I'd say my estimate was pretty much spot on how long it was going to take. All joking aside though guys, if you're going to tackle this project, replacing a spindle on your deck, you know, regardless of the make, model, I'd probably go ahead and get a gear puller. Like I said, I had some pretty good luck for the first few, but it obviously was just that luck because, like I said, I spent probably 20-30 minutes at least trying to get this one off to no avail, and that gear puller I did it in just a couple minutes. So appreciate you guys stopping by, watching the video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment. Be happy to help you out with any of it, anything that didn't make any sense. Make sure you like, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so you get notified whenever we post some new videos. Take care, guys. Oh, and don't mind this. I don't mow in the dark anyways.